I think I need to. I don't know why I'm filming this, but I think I need to make more of an effort to try and force this kind of podcast thing into my life, because there's few things that I can do for 45 minutes and feel like I've got an unlimited amount of energy to do them. Like writing music, I can just do non-stop and all of this stuff. And I guess me speaking to the camera and sharing my thoughts and perspectives on the world is another thing. But it's like that thing with music that to get into it, to get into that flow of doing it can sometimes take a bit of work. But it can sometimes take like a bit of work and unfamiliarity and stuff that you don't always do. And that kind of restriction and unfamiliarity of it and lack of a need for it and no kind of immediate benefit from doing that is what is stopping me making a habit of like filming myself and making videos and stuff. Because currently I'm just speaking about the world and everything in it and perspectives. But yeah, I feel like how I'm thinking that I need to like force in a bit of time here and there to make videos to share my thoughts on the world, because I currently don't do that, and I think it's probably useful. So and I'm thinking, how can I do that? Just like this business stuff, do 5 hours of business a day, it's good. And then I'm thinking maybe with this podcast stuff as well. What else can I do with this podcast stuff to like get these gears going? How can I have a podcast like Modern Wisdom, just where I'm so routinely in that flow of speaking that I can do it more? So I guess my situation now is, because when I do this shit, I like it because I feel like I'm myself and you're speaking to me and you're speaking to me who I actually am. That's why I like it. So that's why I feel like I need to do more of it. How can I do more of it? Come on, it's not that hard. How can I do more of this? Because it's kind of like this stuff. I really like painting, but then there's a difference between making a career out of something and just doing the thing. And with this podcasting thing, I really like the idea. I really like the idea of doing this and just doing it loads and loads, and then having a career that means I can do it loads and loads and loads as well. Because when you're just doing it and you're not making a career out of it, you end up doing less of it because it's not so much a career. But then, for example, with this music stuff, I started music because I thought it was really cool and I was writing so many songs and stuff. And then it gets to a point where it's like now where I'm not writing that much music. But I'm getting so much better relatively to where I was before at the process of it. If that makes sense. So I guess maybe that's a similar thing with this kind of podcast situation, where I need to, do the other stuff that isn't the actual podcast, but to make a career out of it. And how can I do that? I guess I've got there's no point in me hiding any of my thoughts to the world anymore. So a part of me was like, oh, don't share your podcasts and stuff. Don't share your podcasts to the world, because no one like you're a musician, bro. Go do you, be you. But then my thought is this: it's not like you're gonna get to an end point of the music world and be like, okay, done. Like I'm done. No, this is something that someone told me that is like stuck with me. You know when people say shit and it just kind of sticks in your brain. Like someone told me at this music event, I was like, oh, I was telling them, I'm gonna do this music stuff for like 5, 6, 7 years, and then he came back and said something to me, and he was like, you're never gonna not do this music stuff. It's who you are. Like it's who you are, kind of thing, and that really resonated with me. And I guess the point that I'm coming to now, and two things. One is the point I'm coming to now is I'm never gonna not be me. I'm always gonna be me. And if this is a part of me, what was the point I was making? Uh, if this is a part of me that kind of built, there's never like an end goal. There is an end goal, but there's never like I've achieved this thing in music and now I'm done. It's like, no, I've achieved this thing in life. Like I'm just going forward in life. So me doing this, so I'll spill it out for you. So me doing this podcast stuff and showing it into the world, like part of my brain before was like thinking, oh, don't do that because it's gonna take you away from your music goal, and that's the main goal for you, like the music stuff. Like don't do that because it's gonna take you away from that. But when you actually apply a bit of thinking to that and like digging behind that, what do you mean it's gonna restrict your music? Like, what do you mean it's gonna stop you progressing in music? Where's that thought coming from? What's telling you that that's what's gonna happen? That's a thought. Um, and there's no reason why it would restrict your music, kind of thing. And then the thought that was coming to as well is it's not like life isn't this thing where it's like I need to get this objective written down on paper, exact goal in music, and then that's when I've won, and that's when I can say, yeah, I'm happy. No, I'm thinking the goal is more just wake up every day and just keep on doing your shit, like, and it progresses as you do it because you get more and more familiar with the process of doing it. Does that make sense? So me doing this podcast and speaking and stuff, yeah, it's gonna be weird. Oh my god, the light. Yeah, it's gonna be weird with at the start, this fucking light, I need to add some tape to it because it keeps on pissing me off. Because there's a wire underneath it and I hit it with my foot and the light almost falls off. Yeah, it's going to be weird or so with like people that know you and shit, like watching these and being like, that isn't the, like my name's Ned. That isn't the Ned I know. Who's that? Like, who's this person that's pretending to be Ned kind of thing? And this is the thing. They never knew me. They knew the thing of me that I thought I was before. And then, like, it's almost like, yeah, that's like, there's some weirdness, I guess, that is existing within that realm of space and speech. Because it's like you're having to unmask yourself of who you actually truly are to loads of people that had this idea of who you were before. And that's something that happens with this kind of podcast shit. It's like my family are gonna watch this and then be like, "What? Like, watch this?" Or like, people are gonna watch this and then they're gonna be like, "Oh, so that's who you are." And so before you were just lying to me the whole time. Like you weren't like before you weren't like you're different people. So everything that we had before, you were just lying, and that's I guess a reason why there's some kind of weirdness to me putting out this very like such raw being like not giving any fucks. Maybe there's like some kind of weirdness with that because then when everyone sees you, you have this thought that the person that knew you back then or the person that you dated back then or the person that knew you from that time over there, they know different versions of you. But then there's this version that you put out into the world that's accessible to everyone. And then they can like have that as, so this is who you are here, but I knew you when you were like this. So you're telling me that when you were like that, you were different to who you are now. And there's this whole kind of level of you that I didn't know and all of that stuff. And just that thought and that acknowledgement that I need to make with myself, putting content like this out into the world, is I guess a reason why I haven't had this like crazy rush to put content out like this out into the world because there's this like kind of thing that is going on here where people now know this version of you when they knew this other version of you, and for some reason, for me, for my human being, that makes me feel weird and uncertain and a bit funky. And I guess I need to get over that. I need to get over myself and just do it anyway. Because what am I going to, like, at the end of the day, doing that, whether they change their, I don't really have a they kind of thing because I'm just here. But whatever thought or whatever shit changes in their brain doesn't matter. And you already know that, it doesn't matter. So I guess a thing that I need to do to like be myself and be like the version of myself that is me is honestly just start to do this more and like just be such a true, authentic version of myself on camera like this and put my thoughts out into the world like this. And then just get over the fact that people that I'm gonna forcibly break down perceptions of me that exist in people's brains when they get to know this version of me. Does that make sense? So that is something that I'm acknowledging in this video, but I think it's really important because, like I said, there aren't many things that I can do in my life where I can just do them for like 2 hours straight and just speak. There aren't many things, but this seems to be one of them, speak in front of the camera. And another one is just write tracks, like create songs. So surely just the fact that I'm doing it loads and I feel confident in this version of myself that I like when I'm doing it, surely I should do more. surely I should do more of this stuff. That's the thought that's coming into my brain. Surely I should do more of this stuff. So now that I've got that cleared away, I'm speaking to myself now, Mr. Ned, mate, you. How am I gonna do more of this shit? Get more into this. How am I gonna do that? And this is the thing that I'm thinking. Just like business, just like do 5 hours and you'll get the results. And that was the same thing that I had with music. Do 6 hours after 6 hours after 6 hours after 6 hours, and then I'll have the results. And for like 3 weeks, that's what I did in music. I was like, these are 4 things that are important to me in music that seem to be activities that bring results. I'm just going to spend my whole life doing 6 hours of one, 6 hours of the next, 6 hours of the next, 6 hours of the next. That's how I kind of run it. And just do that forced repetition of putting time into it is what I think has led me to being very familiar with lots of different processes in it. So, how am I gonna start? If this goes out, this is me basically trying to explain to myself how am I gonna start this shit? How am I gonna do more of this? And I guess what I'm thinking is to force out all that distraction of your brain. I guess what I'm thinking is the way I can start doing more of this is I've already got the name. I know I want to do this because I fucking copyrighted the name. I got the name and I copyrighted it, so I know I want to do this. I can't hide myself from it. Decade by decade. That's what I wrote down. And that encapsulated all those things that I wanted to speak about. All those things of like, it's not like you get the music goal and then you're done. Like, it's not like you get a 10 billion streams and then you're done. That isn't how this life works, in my opinion. So I clearly have wanted to do something like this. So how am I going to do this then? Come on, mate. How are you going to do this? So, forget all the fucking small things and the distractions. How are you going to do this? 1, create a Spotify profile where I can distribute podcasts. 1. 2, upload this video right here to my YouTube channel. 2. Like completely raw, completely uncut gems. That's a cool name, that. Uncut gems. Because when you're watching Uncut Gems, you're getting every gem out of it. I feel like I need to write this shit down, but I got it on camera. So I will remember it because it's on camera. Uncut Gems. That's a great name. Uncut Gems. But that's definitely a podcast already. But it's an interesting name. Uncut Gems, because what that means is like you have that little gem of information that's really good, but then obviously around it you've got, I don't know what uncut specifically means, but my understanding of it now is you've got a gem inside a rock, and then you take the rock out of it, you just got the gem, and that's a cut gem, and then uncut gem, or maybe it's something like the gem is a bit fragmented, and then when it's cut, it's like put into a form that you can put on a ring. But nonetheless, uncut gems, I like the idea that it's not just pure 100% value all the time. You're getting all the roughage around it as well. That's why I like the idea, uncut gems. Anyways, how am I going to start doing this decade by decade podcast shit more, bro? You tell me. Okay? What I'm going to do, I'm going to create my first episode on Spotify. This is going to be my first episode. So whoever's watching this, is this my first episode? I'm going to do this. Right after this video, I'm going to go and do it. I'm going to go upload this as my first podcast to Spotify. And yeah, so that's step number 1. How else can I do this to get this decade by decade thing moving? So that's 1. Number 2 is to be not so weird about putting this out onto the same page as my music stuff. I think it's quite a good idea for me to do that and just invite people to understand me more. Because I'm not inviting you to understand me more. What I'm doing is I'm inviting you to kind of see this aspect of me. Not see this aspect of me, but just kind of, like I was saying at the start, like build a career out of this thing, because then I can do more of this thing that I seem to really enjoy. So that's what the whole kind of thing is. It's not like I'm dying to get your eyeballs to watch this part of me. It's more I'm dying to put the work in to make this part of me happen more, if that makes sense. So, how am I going to do this? I'm creating a podcast on Spotify, decade by decade, and I will just have my photo of my stuff decade by decade. There you go, bang, smack, done in the middle, decade by decade. And upload that to Spotify. Second thing that you need to do, I'm going Instagram crazy because I've got all these accounts, is create an Instagram account for this and create a TikTok account for this where you can cut down, make the uncut gems, uncut gems, and then cut down gems. And I guess that's a good idea for an Instagram name. Cut down gems, uncut gems is the podcast, and then cut down gems is the short form content. Interesting. So yeah, that's the second thing I need to do is create an Instagram account. But my action plan for now is going to be, and this is another weird thing as well, because people are going to, when whoever's listening to this now, who has this perception of me from before, of how I speak and how I sound, and this is how I want this person to sound because of this is how they sound in their music. Whoever's listening to this now and has this idea of this is how Holton should sound because he's got a deeper voice when he does rap and stuff like that. Like, it's this weird thing where it's like, no, this is like my actual voice. Like, the rapping voice is like the rap voice, you know? And I know I'm now going into a different thing and I'm going to come back to the main thing that I want to speak about. But the thing I'm saying here is never meet your heroes. And I know that, like, the hero is like some term, but never meet your heroes. And this is the thing that your hero, you have this idea of your hero because of what you see in the content that you've digested from that, of that person. And then that's your idea of your hero. But then when you meet your hero in person, your hero has all these other roughages and stuff that they do around them that isn't that completely cut down version of your hero that you've got in your mind. So therefore, meeting your hero, there's two parts to this. One part is good because then you can begin to really understand that your hero is an actual person and you can do it as well. But then another part of it is, no, you shouldn't meet your hero because that guiding light of this person that you want to be and like that you resonate with, when you meet them, you realise that that person is actually fictitious and it's just something that exists in your brain when your actual your hero is a human. So that's the thing of like, don't meet your hero. And I don't know if it's far-fetched or not, but this is the example that I'm kind of giving with this. People have an idea of what my voice sounds like from what they've heard, but then here I am sounding how I sound now. But how I sound now, I guess me speaking now, there's always going to be different versions of my voice, but I guess me speaking now is like closer to this is who I am as a human. It's the voice that my human has. Hello, this is my voice. So that was just the point I was making. So how am I going to do this? Create a Spotify account, upload this as podcast number 1. Number 2, create an Instagram account called Decade by Decade with Edward Holton or with Ned Holton or with Holton. Decade by Decade with Holton. Decade by Decade. Create an Instagram account, chop this up into a few short pieces. I'll get CapCut to do it. Put that out, and then that's how I'm kind of feeding that, growing with the content system. Important to do. And I guess this is why, so I'm currently, at the moment, developing a business model that, in my brain currently, seems like it could logically bring in, for my relative amount of money that I bring in every month, a lot more. And my brain is now thinking that I have kind of bumped into this part of me that, activity that I like to do is speaking to the camera and giving my thoughts. Now that I've kind of bumped into this again, I'm thinking back to, bro, you don't need so much capital coming in every month. What you actually need to do is put your time into this. So I guess my brain is now coming to the understanding that, bro, maybe it isn't maximize completely as much capital as you can get, but do it because it clearly is mentally healthy for you to have a good amount of, for you at the moment, a good amount of capital coming in every month. But also start doing this podcast stuff and speaking to the camera because you've got a lot of time on your hands because like you're doing as much as you feel like you can do at the moment with music, and then because it was become so familiar, that's led you to the time on your hands where it's like, oh well, now I can make a business, and then that is gonna like, yeah, you got time on your hands to do this podcast stuff as well, bro. So that's what I want you to do more of. So yeah, create Spotify account, upload it. Number 2, create Instagram account and have a few things of this chopped down onto it and uploaded with captions. And then the third thing, and this is like the scary part, is start promoting this part of myself on my main channel. And I guess the only like mentally scary part of me that exists in that is you thinking that's when you're going to really have people like look behind the looking glass and be like, this is who this person actually is, and this perception of them that I had is incorrect. And that's like the joining the hero to the other person. So I don't know if it's the best idea to connect the music and the podcast thing together, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I think for the people, this is the thing, because when people listen to me on Spotify, like they don't give a fuck, they don't really know who I am outside of Spotify. So their perception isn't being changed, because it's not like I'm forcing, after Holton, you have this podcast. It's not like that's happening. So their perception isn't going to be changed, because they're only fans of me on Spotify. But then you have the people that are really tapped into me on Instagram, who are like tapped into they see the content, they see the messages, they see the Spotify. And then your concern that you're trying to break down here is when those people go and see that, oh, he's got this other side of him, maybe that's going to switch me off from being a fan of him. But then the thing that I'm breaking down is, look, 100,000 so monthly listeners on Spotify, and you get about 1,000 to 3,000 views on average on your Instagram story. And this is how you would promote this version. This is how you would promote this Decade by Decade podcast. I'm just breaking down the logic now. It's of course not going to fucking impact my like fan, like this whole music industry thing. You learn it as you go, but this idea of a fan, it's not going to impact how someone that likes my music likes it after seeing this, because at the end of the day, it's a small portion of people that are actually going to pay it. Like 2,000 views on my story, 1,000 views looked at it for more than 3 seconds, 500 people looked at it for more than 10 seconds, and then 100 people watch the whole thing, kind of thing. That's how this kind of conversion game goes. So your concern, when you really break it down to the data, is of those 100 people that actually paid attention, maybe 10 of them are less interested, but then at the same time 10 of them are maybe more interested in you. So you have that counterbalance that go full steam ahead, bro, and start putting this stuff out as well, because it can clearly potentially be beneficial for you to do. I hope this is recording audio. No, it's because the one I did before was. So here we go. Here are my actions. Spotify. My voice sounds more used now because I haven't spoken for this amount of time for a long time. It's been like an hour of non-stop speaking. So my voice, it'll be interesting to see how the voice changes from start to finish. Just like when you start a performance and it's 35 minutes and you've got so much more cadence and flow at the start, and then at the end of it you're like not rapping with as much cadence because you're not as practiced in this realm of using your voice for that long. But I guess it's a similar thing with this podcast situation. Yeah. So what are my actionables? Just give me. Look, here you go. 3 actionables: podcast, create it, put it on Spotify, create the artwork, put it on Spotify. Number 2, create the Instagram account, create the TikTok account, and have 5 things ready to be uploaded. Don't upload it yet, just follow people within this realm, so like warm up the accounts. Number 3, create some Instagram stories telling people, look, I've made this podcast account. If you want to check me out on a deeper level or whatever, watch it. And then number 4 is, and I guess this is more a thingamajiggy of it, is start running some, not yet, but, my back. Start running some meta ads to bring more exposure to this podcast thing. And that's something I can do down the line. And meta ads and all that stuff, bro, that's a skill set that I feel like has had a massive impact on my life. And it's something that I learned because I was having no one pay attention to my music, and I learned how to, through trial and error, getting people to listen to the music and stuff. And I guess that's something I can do with Decade by Decade. So here are the contractables that I'm going to do, because I clearly want to do this. 1, I'm going to write down minimum 30 minutes every day. Minimum 30 minutes every day doing the career business kind of stuff of this podcast. Number 2, creating a Spotify profile to upload this podcast with. Number 3, creating an Instagram account. Number 4, with content that's going to be edited. Number 4, create 2 stories that you're going to schedule onto your main Instagram telling people, look, go check me out here. And then number 5 is later on, but meta ads. Okay, there we go. Anyone that's watched this or listened to this or seen this first episode of Decade by Decade, I've tried many episodes before, but this is the first one that is going to go on Spotify. Hello and welcome to Decade by Decade podcast. Yes, I hope you're having a good day, and more to come on this later on. And yes, hello, and we shall see you on the next one. There you go. I got to end this video now, the podcast now. Uncut Gems, Decade by Decade. This is the first episode, and now I've got my action list, and I'm going to go do that, and then this is going to be the first one that goes up. Peace.